All right, 6 months later, finally recording part 10. It only took 6 months, okay? So just look forward to my final video sometime in, I don't know, 2023 at this rate. We'll see. Hey everyone, how's it going? Today we're going to be adding a welcome screen to our game and adding some different game states. So the reason we're doing this is because we don't want to click start and be immediately playing the game. Not usually how games work. Usually you have a little bit of an intro scene, and you have like some other game states. So you're not always playing the game. Like maybe sometimes you're in a shop, or maybe sometimes you're on the title screen. So it's gonna work sort of like this, where we'll have like our welcome screen, and it'll have like the game title, and it'll have like a start button. And then when you click that, then it will actually start our shooter game. I can't draw cowboy hats. What does her hat look like? It's like a wide brim. It looks like a fedora. Okay, and she has a gun. Yikes. Okay, whatever. That's Adventure Girl. This is a zombie. And she shoots the little bullets at the zombie. So that's our game. So we have the title screen, we have our game. And then one thing that we haven't worked on yet is we are going to have a shop. And the shop is going to have like some different options that you can like buy. So maybe there will be like a speed upgrade or a damage upgrade or something. And so these are all different states. Like this is the welcome state of the game. This is like the actual game, and then this is the shop. And what we want is to be able to have these all work sort of within the same like Scratch project here. So we don't have to just be playing the game. The game can sort of like pause while we're in the shop, or it can sort of pause, and then when we click start, we'll go back to the game. So essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to switch between these different game states so we can go back and forth to different ones of them as we need to. So, effectively we need a way to pause our shooter game while we go into these other states like the shop or the welcome screen or something. So really quickly, before we get into any of the code, I'm going to go steal a few assets from my other games because I don't want to go redraw a bunch of stuff here. You're welcome to make your own stuff or use the same assets as me. I'm going to, if you guys want to, I have my Zombie Survivor project. The full project is linked in the description of the video. If you want to, you can come borrow my assets. I'm going to go grab the welcome screen, and we're going to export that. And I'm also going to grab what else do I need? I'm also going to grab this button that I made, the start button. And I am also going to grab the shop. So I have a shop thing. Yeah, the shop background, I'm going to export this as well. Great. Okay, so now back in our project, I am going to import those. And so we are going to take every one of these, I believe, is its own costume. So we will just open all of them. And then this is going to be the shop. This is going to be the start button. And this is going to be the welcome screen. Great, so now that we've got all this stuff in here, right now if I start the game, it's all broken because now the welcome screen is right in front of all of our actual game happening. We don't have any states, we just stuck a giant sprite over the top of everything, which is not what we're going for. So what we want to do is we want to start adding in our code to control the different states of our game. So I'm going to create a variable, and I'm going to call it state. And we are going to have some code here. We're going to set the state depending on what happens. So when the game first starts, what we want to do is we want to set the state to welcome. Because when we start the game, we want to be on the welcome screen. So then if we are on the welcome screen, then we're going to show this welcome screen option here. And if we're not on the welcome screen, then we won't show it. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a forever loop, and we're going to say if our state is equal to welcome, if the game state is equal to welcome, game state is equal to welcome, same thing we have here, then we're going to show it. Otherwise, we're going to hide it. And that's all. So when we click start, we're showing the welcome screen because that's what we're on. And then the other thing we need is we need to have our start button is right now showing, it's right now a layer behind, it's behind our welcome screen. So we need to make sure that start button is always showing up at the front. So we're going to say when we click start, we are going to bring it to the front layer. And there we go, there it is. And we can position that real quick. I usually put it down here. And so then the idea with the start button is that when we click the start button, we're going to change the game state because it means we no longer want to be on the welcome screen. We want to go into the actual game. So what we'll say, if we click it, so we can just go ahead and grab a when sprite clicked, all we're going to do is change the state to game. So when we click, we change the state to game. It will no longer be the welcome screen, so this will hide because this will no longer be true. Just to show that real quick, I'll click start, and I start the game, and there you go. We're in our game. So the other thing we want to do is also the shop thing, obviously, is still showing. We want to do something very similar to what we did here with the welcome screen. We basically want to say that if we are currently in the shop, so if the game state is equal to shop, so we have a forever loop, we have an if statement, we have a when we click start, we say if the game state is equal to shop, if the state is equal to shop, then we show this, otherwise we hide this. So now when I click start and actually start, oh, we're still showing this. And then the other thing we want to do is we want to also have this start button shouldn't be showing if there's no option to start the game. So we want to say, I actually want the start button to show both for the shop and for the welcome screen, because when you shop, there needs to be a way to get back into the game. So from the shop screen, they'll click the start button, and then that will put them back into the game after they've finished buying upgrades. So to do that, we're going to have the start button show and hide just like everything else in our project here. So we're going to put in a forever loop, an if else statement. In this case, the start button is going to show on both the shop screen and the welcome screen, because we want to be able to get back into our game from either of those spots. And so to do that, again, we're going to grab an equals here. We're going to say if our game state is equal to shop, or if our game state is equal to welcome, then we will show the button. Otherwise, we will hide the button. So now when I start the game, we can click start, and there we go. We're in our game. We've got the little welcome screen beforehand. Unfortunately, one weird thing is happening right now. The game is actually happening in the background, even though this is all up. So you'll see I start the game and Adventure Girl's already dead. That's because the game is playing currently in the background, even though the screen is up over it. So we need something to happen here. We need the game to not actually run if we're in one of the other states. So the game should only be running if we're in the game state and the player's actually able to play. It shouldn't be running while we're in the shop or while we're on the welcome screen. So in order to prevent the game from being playable, the first thing we want to do is that Adventure Girl shouldn't be able to move. None of these things should be an option. Being able to move left or right or hit the melee button, none of that should be an option if the game state is not on game. If the state is not game, then we don't want her to be able to move, because it means either we're shopping or we're in the welcome screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab an if statement, and basically everything is going to go inside of this if statement. We are going to, everything except for setting her current speed back to 0. And basically in this if statement, what we're going to do is we're just going to be checking, again, you should be starting to look very familiar, if the state is equal to game. If the state is equal to game, then we go ahead and do all of this stuff. If it's not equal to game, then she's not allowed to go take any actions. One other change that we should make here is right here where we're controlling when she dies, when her health is less than 0. What we want to happen now is instead of just waiting until her health is, I guess waiting forever is what we do right now, we want to go to the shop screen so that she has a chance to buy upgrades. And then when we click start again, then we'll go back into the game with the upgrades that we have. So instead of waiting until player health is greater than 0, what we want to do here actually is change our game state. We want to say if she dies, then we'll let her animation finish. And then once the animation finishes, we'll change the game state to shop. And then there's one other thing we need to change here too. So the other thing that's changing is the zombie spawn shouldn't be happening. The zombie shouldn't be able to create a clone of itself if we're not in the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick in a forever loop here. We're going to have it, for now we're just going to have it wait 10 seconds in between creating clones. So it'll create a clone every 10 seconds. But it will only do this if our game state is equal to game. So if our state is equal to game, then we will start creating zombies. Otherwise, we won't create any zombies because obviously our game hasn't started. So let's try that out and see how it goes. So now if I start the game, I should be able to wait for a second here and nothing will have started. Now there you go, I start the game and the zombie spawns in. I can kill zombies. If we give it a few seconds, another one should spawn. I guess 10 seconds might be a little bit too long. Maybe I should decrease it. But there you go, there's another zombie. So let's see if the zombie kills us then. You'll see that we go into the shop screen right here. And the shop screen is just a little bit broken, so let me fix this up a little bit. So first of all, we probably want to drag this right into the center here. And then let's go ahead and turn off. We don't need to be seeing all of these different, all those different variables are not super important right now. We'll leave player health on there for the moment, and we'll leave game state on there for the moment. We'll put them up a little higher, just for us as developers to know what's going on here. But what you're going to see here is that now, when I start the game, I can start, and then when I die, we go into the shop, and then I can click start again. Oh, and that's kind of weird. It starts our game, but we're immediately dead. That is because you'll notice that our health doesn't get reset ever. So what we want to do is we want her health to also get reset. So when we go to the, when we click on the sprite, when we click the start button, this is where we want to set her health. So every time we restart the game and go into the game, we want to set her health to whatever her health is, so 2 for now. The other thing we want to do is, you'll note, if you recall, is that there were zombies. There were already zombies. So if we didn't kill a zombie, second, and we click start again, the zombie's right on top of us already. What we want to happen is we want to get rid of all of those zombies and restart our game from the beginning. So the other thing I want to do is delete all the clones. So how do I do that? One second. So I think the way I'm going to handle that is I'm going to stick in a broadcast here, and the broadcast message is going to be game start. And when the game start gets broadcasted, it'll get broadcasted when we click on the start button. And when that gets broadcasted, we will go ahead and kill all of our clones. So if we receive the message game start, then we're going to delete all of our zombie clones. So let's see if that works real quick. So we're in the game. Let's die real quick. Perfect. We go to our shop, we click start again, and there we go. Our player health gets reset, and it'll restart spawning zombies. Awesome. All right, this is looking great. The last thing I wanted to do for this video is have our music change based on whatever state we're in. So if we are in the welcome screen, then I want the reggae music to play. If we are in the game, I want the video game 2 music to play. And if we are in the shop, I want mystery music to play. And so the way we're gonna handle that is we're gonna keep this forever loop, but we are going to stick in some repeat untils. And what we're gonna do basically is we're gonna repeat our sound until we are no longer on the screen for it. So now that'll make more sense in just a second here. So our first one's gonna be reggae, the second one's video 2, the third one is mystery. So what we're gonna do is we're going to say, we are going to repeat until our state is not equal to welcome. And what this says is we're gonna keep playing this reggae music until we're no longer on the welcome screen. And then we're gonna do the same thing for these other ones. So this will be game, and this one will be shop. So now if I run this code, what you're gonna notice is that it does play the correct music, but it waits for a really long time before it switches. So like, now it switched to the game music, and then the same thing will happen. If I die here, it'll keep playing the video game music for a while, and then when it gets to the end, it'll switch to the mystery music. But I don't want it to wait that long. I don't want it to finish playing reggae before it switches to video game 2. If we go to the game, I want this video game 2 music to start playing right away. So the way you can fix that is pretty easy. You can just stick in a when you receive the game start. So when the game starts, we're gonna go ahead and stop all sounds. And then that should reset us so that we can start playing whatever the correct one is. So I'm gonna click start, and then there you go. Right away the game changes. Except there's one bug still. So what you may have noticed is that worked correctly when we clicked start here. It switched right away. But then when our character died, it still waited a really long time before switching to the mystery music for the shop. There you go. And the reason that happened is because we're only sending this message when we start the game. We're not sending it any other time. So possibly a better name for this message would be, let's call it state change. And then we will run this every time the state changes. So we are running it with the, where is it? Here, so we're gonna say when the state changes, we're gonna delete the clones. We're gonna set this to state change instead. And then what we're gonna do is so this is the other spot where we change state, is when she dies, we go to the shop. So here we're gonna also need to broadcast that message, state change. There we go, after we change it, we broadcast the message. So now if I run it, the third time's the charm, it seems like, there you go. The music is changing correctly as soon as we want it to, as soon as we enter the different states. And there you have it. That's how you do a welcome screen and different game states in Scratch. In the next video, we are going to be talking about, what are we going to be talking about? In the next video, we're going to be talking about the shop and player upgrades. So things like maybe we'll have a speed for Adventure Girl. Maybe you can buy upgrades to make her faster, or maybe you can buy upgrades to make her bullets do more damage. Stuff like that. So I will see you guys in the next video.